So it's over to January 11th of 2024, and given that there's a lot of problems going on with Disney and it's not off to a good start as we speak, everything ranging from their Deadpool 3 production having a lot of drama behind the scenes, all back and forth scenarios between the writers like Rhett Reese, Paul Wernick, and yes, even Ryan Reynolds going up against the Disney heads. And it's not just about that, it has a lot to do with the Deadpool 3 cameos and everything related to studio interference with a lot of the creative aspects of the film. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So, the third Deadpool film, we all know that Ryan Reynolds calls this his baby, and there's a reason behind that, is that this is something that he has been trying to really make and bring it into reality for many years, and that's exactly why he eventually ran to Disney, because they were willing to actually make this happen and make it work in the way, in the beginning at least, that Ryan Reynolds actually was envisioning for. And as it turns out, there's a lot of problems happening with creative differences right now between the writers, the Disney heads. Not a big shocker. I mean, Disney turned their backs on George Lucas when George said, alright, I'll sell you everything related to Star Wars, but at least, respect the characters, respect the lore. They agree with that, but then they turn their back on him. It's almost a similar scenario. This is Disney in their own nature, right? Now, what's interesting about all this has a lot to do with what Ryan Reynolds recently did to actress Tatiana Maslany, who portrays She-Hulk in the She-Hulk series. Now, what's interesting about all of this is that we know Deadpool 3, it's going to be a cameo fest, right? This is basically Disney's main selling point. The other selling point is the appearance of Wolverine by Hugh Jackman as one of the main characters. Now, at the current status of Disney, very bleak with expensive failures on the horizon for 2025, one major development has to do with Ryan Reynolds and the third Deadpool film. As it turns out, with one of the most recent updates to the production, Disney provided Ryan the liberty to fire and lay off She-Hulk actress Tatiana Maslany from appearing in the form of a cameo in the third act of the film, as well for a brief snippet in the second act of the movie, where it begins to meddle with the multiverse. The drama, as it turns out, was also worse than previously thought. Tatiana was causing trouble for the third Deadpool film, and had issues with Disney's decision to cut out the appearance of Captain Marvel, played by Brie Larson, along with another Captain Marvel from the multiverse that was supposed to appear alongside Brie's version that has never been seen before yet, that would communicate with She-Hulk within the third act before the new female-focused X-Men characters would show up. Now, Tatiana Maslany was demanding Disney, even after agreeing to a specific deal for the film, that she wanted a doubled payout for her two big cameos in the third Deadpool film, as two, of course, were very important to her as She-Hulk, one of which involved Wade Wilson seeking a lawyer for some kind of trouble that he gets into in his personal life within the third act that leads to the scene where she eventually begins yelling at Wade Wilson. Another sequence involved She-Hulk getting mixed in with her appearance with the new X-Men characters that would tease for what's to come in Marvel Phase 7 by Kevin Feige. Tatiana created so much drama with the Disney heads about her appearance in the film before the cameos were even shot that even Ryan wanted her out as soon as possible. Tatiana's ultimatum was that she wanted Brie's cameos to be reinstated, since she is heavily defending her acting career after Brie was removed from several Marvel projects after the Marvel's box office disaster. Eventually, both Ryan and the Disney heads agreed on firing Maslany after much trouble. However, Disney gave Ryan the go-ahead to make his own decision and call on that action if necessary, which he did. As it turns out, She-Hulk is now being replaced with a special cameo from the SSU, aka the Sony Spider-Man universe, that is planned to do last-minute filming by the end of this month, even if main principal photography wraps up by then. This will be considered a pickup shot, as they plan to film this in just a matter of a few days to complete at most. Even writers Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who were initially forced by Disney to write Maslany's scenes in there, were all in all, of course, support of Ryan for firing the She-Hulk actress from the film entirely. Now guys, let me just pause here quick before I get to the big conclusion about what's really going on here. Now look, we know that Ryan Reynolds has a problem with Disney really making this into a cameo-driven movie. and how it's becoming more or less of an advertisement for a lot of Marvel's creations, a lot of Marvel movies that have already been established, or ones that are on the horizon for Phase 6 and Phase 7. Alright, so Ryan's having a lot of problems with that because it takes away the limelight from the Deadpool character himself, which, by the way, Ryan is very passionate about. He cares about the character deeply. And sure, Wolverine is in there as the main character. That's fine and all. That's perfect, actually. But the problem lies with this, is that Disney is actually shoehorning in all these different characters for no reason at all. There was never a reason to throw in Captain Marvel, let alone throwing in She-Hulk of all things, right? Of all characters. It really made no sense to me. It never made any sense to the lore itself, and it really serves no purpose in my book. So the main reasoning behind this is that not only was Tatiana stirring up all this drama with the Disney heads, demanding this and demanding that, but it was also due to the cringeworthy dialogue that was actually forced by Disney upon writers Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who really were not all in support of writing in She-Hulk. By the way, this is exactly why Marvel and Kevin Feige, they are pushing for She-Hulk to become one of the new Avengers, so to speak, that will replace the Kang Dynasty film after the firing of Jonathan Majors. They're trying to shift things around with that movie, making it into something completely new. So, moving onwards, now, not only with cringeworthy dialogue that was established in this script that was forced by writers, of course, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick by Disney, along with studio interference for how the scene was to be filmed, this did not help things either, along with her demanding not only more payout, but also more scenes, and her ultimatum to bring Brie back is what made Disney decide to give Ryan that choice to lay her off from production of this movie. So we talked about this a couple of days ago, about how Ryan had the liberty to fire Tatiana from the production of this film before they even shot these cameo scenes, mind you. This was all pre-planned to be shot by the end of this month. It would take a matter of a few days to get it all done, wrapped up, and then throw it in there during post-production. But where it stands right now, it's looking like a 50-50 chance that they are going to be able to finish filming before February 1. Alright? Because of all the setbacks, all of the delays, all of the argumentative conversations happening between the creatives and the corporate ladder, such as the Disney heads, including Bob Iger, the CEO. So that's exactly why this movie is like a mixed bag. The first two acts so far, went smoothly. It was a pretty smooth ride production-wise. The third was like a crash and burn. This is where a lot of drama spilled in. A lot of creative differences began to rise out of this. And if things continue this way, I think what's going to happen with Deadpool 3 is that fans are going to think it's a great and almighty movie for the first half, maybe even more than the first half, and then it's just going to make this massive dip toward like the last 45 to 50 minutes. So overall, I would love to hear what you all have to say about this ongoing situation below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.